So this is from the beginning of Camp Cataract. A woman named Harriet has gone to a retreat center to calm her nerves called Camp Cataract, and she's reading a letter from her sister, Sadie. Dear sister, Harriet read, you are still at Camp Cataract visiting the falls and enjoying them. I always want you to have a good time. This is your 5th week away. I suppose you go on standing behind the falls with much enjoyment, like you told me all the guests did. I think you said only the people who don't stay overnight have to pay to stand behind the waterfall. You stay 10 weeks. Have a nice time, dear. Here, everything is exactly the same as when you left. The apartment doesn't change. I have something I want to tell you, but first let me say that if you get nervous, why don't you come home instead of waiting until you are no good for the train trip? Such a thing could happen. I wonder, of course, how you feel about the apartment once you are by the waterfall. Also, I want to put this to you. Knowing that you have an apartment and a loving family must make Camp Cataract quite a different place than it would be if it were all the home and loving you had. There must be wretches like that up there. If you see them, be sure to give them loving, because they are the lost souls of the earth. I fear nomads. I'm afraid of them and afraid for them too. I don't know what I would do if any of my dear ones were seized with the wanderlust. We are meant to cherish those who through God's will are given into our hands. First of all come the members of the family, and for this it is better to live as close as possible. Maybe you would say, Sadie is old-fashioned. She doesn't want people to live on their own. I am not old-fashioned, but I don't want any of us to turn into nomads. You don't grow rich in spirit by widening your circle, but by tending your own. When you are gone, I get afraid about you. I think that you might be seized with the wanderlust and that you are not remembering the apartment very much, particularly this trip. But then I know this cannot be true and that only my nerves make me think such things. It's so hot out. This is a record-breaking summer. Remember, the apartment is not just a row of rooms. It is the material proof that our spirits are so wedded that we have but one blessed roof over our heads. There are only 3 of us in the apartment related by blood, but Bert Hoffer has joined the 3 through the normal channels of marriage, also sacred. I know that you feel this way too about it, and that just nerves makes me think Camp Cataract can change anything. May I remind you also that if this family is a garland, you are the middle flower. For me, you are anyway. Maybe Evie's love is now flowing more to Bert Hoffer because he's her husband, which is natural. I wish they didn't think you needed to go to Camp Cataract because of your spells. Haven't I always tended you when you had them? Bert's always taken Evie to the Hoffers, and we've stayed together, just the 2 of us, with the door safely locked so you wouldn't, in your excitement, run to a neighbor's house at all hours of the morning. Evie liked going to the Hoffers because they always gave her chicken with dumplings or else goose with red cabbage. I hope you haven't got it in your head that just because you are an old maid, you have to go somewhere and be by yourself. Remember, I am also an old maid. I must close now, but I am not satisfied with my letter because I have so much more to say. I know you love the apartment and feel the way I feel. You are simply getting a tourist thrill out of being there in a cabin like all of us do. I count the days until your sweet return. Your loving sister, Sadie.